Angles and triangles. Welcome to Mark's Math. Angles and triangles. Types and names. Talk about angle types, triangle names, and angle relationships. 4 different types of angle types: acute, right, straight, and obtuse. Triangle names, we can classify triangles by angles: acute, right, and obtuse, or by sides: scalene, isosceles, equilateral. And angle relationships: vertical, complementary, supplementary, or the triangle sum. Angle types. A right angle is 90 degrees. It looks like a corner. A little box indicates 90 degrees. It's a corner, like an intersection of a wall and a floor. Or an intersection of 2 lines that are perpendicular. All 4 of those corners would be 90 degrees or right angles. Acute, less than 90 degrees. So here's an angle, 80 degrees, that's less than 90, so it's acute. 35, less than 90, so it's acute. But it has to be greater than 0, because if it's 0, then it's not really an angle. Obtuse, greater than 90 degrees. 100 degrees, that's greater than 90, so that's an obtuse angle. 150, also greater than 90. But it has to be less than 180. Because if it's 180, it is a straight angle. Makes a straight line. Continues through a point, 180 degrees. Sometimes they'll use the notation the measure of an angle is, like I put in red, the measure of an angle equals 90 degrees. That tells you it's a right angle. Or for acute, the measure of the angle is between 0 and 90. Obtuse is between 90 and 180. And the straight is equal to 180. So that what I've got in red there is another way to mark the measure of an angle. Pop quiz. What type of angle is this? Obtuse angle. Very good. It's between 90 and 180. Did you get it? What type of angle is this? Acute angle. That's right, because it's between 0 and 90. 65 degrees is between 0 and 90. So what is this? A right angle. Correct, because it equals 90 degrees. And this angle? Very good. It's a straight angle because it equals 180 degrees. Well done. Triangle types and names. I can name triangles by angles. So a right triangle, obtuse triangle, acute triangle, or by sides, scalene, isosceles, equilateral. So a right triangle will look like one of these 3. Notice that in the corner, it's got the little box indicating a 90-degree angle. It only takes one 90-degree angle to make it a right triangle. Obtuse triangles would look like these. It only takes one angle greater than 90 to make it an obtuse triangle. Acute triangle. It requires all angles to be less than 90 degrees. All three angles in a triangle have to be less than 90 degrees to be an acute triangle. Because if you notice in the obtuse, two of the angles are less than 90. And in the right triangle, two of them are also less than 90. Okay, but to be an acute, it must be all three. By sides, scalene. It means all the sides are different lengths of sides. That's a scalene triangle. Isosceles triangle. Exactly two of the sides are the same length. Only two, exactly two. Equilateral. All the sides are the same length. Equilateral. All the sides are the same length. So we can classify triangles by angles or by sides. Pop quiz. What type of triangle is this? It's scalene because they're all different numbers for side lengths, but all of the angles are less than 90 degrees, so it's also acute. So it's scalene and acute because a triangle can be both classified by sides and classified by angles. You probably all thought just scalene. You forgot about the acute, didn't you? What type of triangle is this? Isosceles because two sides are nines, and obtuse because that angle is definitely greater than 180 degrees. How about this one? Equilateral. All sides are the same length. Equilateral triangle. And one more. What type of triangle is this? Scalene and right. Three different side lengths, but there's a right angle in there. Bonus. Shorthand for equal measures. Tick marks, we call them. For side lengths, in an isosceles triangle, we would mark through with little lines. As long as the same number of lines, it's the same length. It can be one line, two lines. That signifies they're the same length. Equilateral, they're all the same length. Don't have to tell you what the numbers are, what the lengths are. Little tick marks indicate they're the same. We can do angles the same way. So both of those angles are the same. Could also be done just this way. So the two bottom angles are the same and the one on top is different because it's got different number of angle markings through it. Those are isosceles triangles. Equiangular triangle, they're all the same. Oh. They could indicate all three angles being different this way. That happens to also be a scalene triangle. Angle relationships. Complementary. Makes a corner. 35 and 55. We split the 90 degree up into two pieces. Each of those angles, 35 and 55, are complementary angles because together they make a 90 degree angle. So here's one, we split it up into A and B. Well, as long as A plus B equals 90, they're complementary. Supplementary makes a straight line. 120 and 60. They add to 180. That makes them supplementary. Vertical angles. Opposite sides of an intersection are equal. Opposite angles of an intersection are equal. Those two angles are the same. So if that angle is 35, what's the question mark? 35. Very good. Because they're vertical angles. Triangle sum. And all three angles add up to 180 degrees. So here's our right triangle. That one's 30, that one's 60. And since we know that that little box means 90, if I add them all up, I get 180 degrees. It'll always be the internal angles of a triangle all add up to 180. Here's a way I can remember complementary and supplementary. Complementary starts with a C, corner starts with a C. Supplementary starts with an S, straight line starts with an S. So if it makes a corner, they're complementary. If they form a straight line, they're supplementary. Pop quiz. Find the missing angle. 70, right? They're complementary. So 20 plus A has to equal 90, so A is 70. 30, that's right, because B and the 150 are supplementary because they make a straight line. So what is C? 55, they're vertical angles, they're equal. Very good. So what is angle D? It's 100, because all three of them have to add up to 180. 20 and 60 is 80, add 100, I get 180. I hope the presentation was helpful. Thumbs up, subscribe, comment. And if you have any problem types you'd like me to demonstrate, there's my address.